What's up, everyone? Eli here, back for another video. Today I have got 10 CDs. We're just going to go back to my CD collection. I feel like I haven't done one of these videos in, I don't know, 2-3 weeks or something, so needed to get back to it. Yeah, today we're just going to be looking at two different bands in this stack of 10. So two very well-known bands, but they're both bands that I very much enjoy and have for a long time. So let's get started. We're going to start with Dark Funeral, which is, I believe, where I left off in the last collection video I did. This album is called Diabolus Interium. This is from Necropolis Records. This is one of their later records. Came out in, fuck, I don't know. I don't see it on here, but anyways, I'm not gonna, look like a retard in front of you guys, well, any more than I already do. There you have it. Now, we all know Dark Funeral. This is one of those albums that I've had for quite a long time, and this one as well as the next one, I always liked alright, but I didn't think they were all that great. And, maybe they aren't, but I don't know, recently, like within the last year or so, I listened to both of them, and I'll admit I was kind of inebriated, but I don't know, man. I was really focusing and paying attention, and I mean, Lord Ahriman is, he writes some really fucking good riffs, and I just like these albums more than I had remembered, so, everyone kind of has an opinion on Dark Funeral. I know most of the, the black metal diehards or whatever are kind of against them, but man, I think they're cool. I don't have a problem with them. This album right here is even a little bit newer than that one. I believe this one came out right after that one. That is A Terra Totus Sanctus. There you go. Kind of a similar cover, or at least the color scheme. Kind of cheesy, but anyways, this came out on Candlelight Records this time around. Pretty cool artwork on the inside. I really actually like the layout from what I remember. Yeah, like I said, I don't remember the years that these two albums came out, and I'm kind of not seeing them on the back. But this one did come after that one. It's very similar. I think that one, the last one, might have been a little bit better than this. I mean, they are very kind of stock Dark Funeral records. I mean, they're just, not a lot of variation going on, just, blasting fast songs. Like I said, I do like Lord Ahriman's riffs. I feel like he's a good riff writer. They got, what's his name, and the drummer Dominator, who plays, I believe, on both these albums. That dude just plays perfectly. Very good drummer. I never really cared for the vocalist, though. What's his name? Caligula, Emperor Caligula, or whatever. Really fucking, I don't know, just, he has no variation in his vocals. He's just kind of squawky, and I don't know, it always kind of rubbed me the wrong way. He was great when he was in fucking Hypocrisy. He was a great death metal vocalist, but as a black metal vocalist, I always felt like Dark Funeral could have, sounded a little better with a different vocalist, just a better vocalist. That's just my opinion, though. I think his vocals are they're slightly annoying, and they're just a little bit too over the top. So, yeah. Now I have the newest Dark Funeral album. We've heard a lot of people talk about this one. It had a lot of hype when it came out, and really, I mean, I think for the most part, I think it deserved it. I quite like this album, Where the Shadows Forever Reign, from Century Media Records. Yes, in case you were wondering, that is Necrolord cover art, which is, his art is unmistakable, if you're familiar with it. So, this album is, I think what they did right was they put a little bit more variation than they had on the past couple records. Not so much just straightforward, blasting mess. There's actually some atmosphere and some variation on the songs here. There's some slower songs. I don't know, it's just a better written album. They have a different vocalist on this album. I don't remember his name, but he comes from, he plays in two bands that I actually thought were quite good. I knew about those bands before he joined Dark Funeral. I'm so sorry, I don't remember the name of the bands. I don't remember what country he's from. He's not Swedish, though. But anyways, what he brings to the band, I gotta say, I think he's kind of really just trying to sound like Emperor Caligula, and I think I might like him slightly more, but I don't know. He didn't. Maybe they wanted him to sound like that, but it's a little bit too samey. But good album, man. I really enjoyed it. There's the back. And if you've seen this album, or if you have it, you know that it folds out into an inverted cross, which some people think it's lame. I think it's cool. I mean, come on. I think it's cool. So yeah, folds out like that. It's hard to do, obviously, but you get the point. Yeah, I mean, it's fairly sturdy. It's not totally fucking shitty. Some of the band members there, Araman and Chalk Mall. Then we got these fucking dudes. And I know you probably don't care so much to see all that, but hey, I already had it out. Well, anyway, there's two more dudes, and I don't know where they're. One more dude, I don't know. Anyways, the album is good. I like it. I'm still listening to it. Really, yeah, it's good. If you like Dark Funeral, if you're a Dark Funeral fan, I mean, you definitely won't go wrong with this. If you're not a Dark Funeral fan, will they win you over? I don't know. That's up to you. But regardless, it's a solid album. I enjoy it. If they put out, more stuff along this line, at least quality-wise, I think they're on the right track. That's enough about Dark Funeral. Next, we're going to move on to Darkthrone. We all know Darkthrone, so I'm not going to show anything today you haven't seen, or I'm not going to. I don't know. It's nothing rare or unique, but it is great. I mean, Darkthrone are absolutely one of my favorite bands, as they are probably one of your favorite bands. If you're into black metal, you're into Darkthrone. I mean, there's a 99% chance. Even if you're not into Darkthrone, their influence on black metal is undeniable. One of the most influential bands ever in the genre. So anyways, starting off, I don't really have these in order. Don't ask why, I don't know. I just don't. So we're going to start off with the Frostland Tapes. A lot of you guys have this one, I'm sure. This is a really cool thing put out by Peaceville. It's got kind of one of those, I don't know what they call this format, or this packaging style, but it's, it's like a book. It's always really sturdy. They're the only label I've ever seen do it, and I love it. So you're one, if you're not familiar with this, you're wondering what is it. This is a 3-disc compilation of their earlier demos. We got the Land of Frost demo from 1988. I like how they printed on there because I don't remember years usually. We have a New Dimension demo from 1988 also. We have the Thulkandra demo from 89. We have the Cromlech demo from 89 also. There's some bonus tracks also in here that weren't on these demos. We have Live from Denmark, 1990, when they're still playing death metal. And then we have Goat Lord. And it's a specific version of Goat Lord. It's instrumental version. So yeah, I don't necessarily prefer that, but there, as you might know, there are several different variations of Goat Lord. I know people that like it. I know some people that like it a lot, but it's never been. It's probably my least favorite Darkthrone album. Really, I mean, maybe I just don't get it. I don't hate it, but I certainly don't reach for it very often. Anyways, it's got a nice booklet, and I'm pretty sure I bought this when it was still pretty new, and they really didn't ask much for it either. It wasn't overpriced. I want to say it was under $20. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it was. So yeah, it's really fucking worth having. Really like it. It's awesome. Moving on. We have their debut death metal album, Soulside Journey. This is a repress from fucking some year, 2001. So it's got the cardboard cover thingy. I don't know what those are fucking called. So yeah, there you go. There you go. How do I feel about this album? I think it's fantastic. I'll be honest, it was kind of a sleeper album for me. Not that I ever had any issues with it. I always just kind of felt like, I got into Darkthrone obviously after that when they were playing black metal. I grew to think of Darkthrone as strictly a black metal band. I thought their black metal stuff was amazing. So I don't know. I always kind of put that album kind of on the back burner really, but I kind of grew to like it more and more as I heard it. It's just a cool piece of history, and as a death metal album, it's a good death metal album. It's well written, it's well played. I mean, it's fucking cool. Darkthrone are they're a funny band. They have such a long history, and they've done so many different genres and shit like that. So it's cool that they have a really good death metal album in their discography. Yeah, I'm all about it. Next, I have Under a Funeral Moon. I think this was another repress from the same year. I believe, yeah, 2001. So it's got the cardboard cover. God damn it! I don't know what do you call these things? Are they necessary? No, not really. You just have a regular album underneath it. Under a Funeral Moon. This album is fucking amazing. Raw as fuck, cold black metal. This album alone has probably inspired. It's probably inspired 500 bands that wanted to sound just like this. I always thought this was their most raw album. I don't know. That's just how I always felt about it. Their most raw and their most cold sounding album. I always had a hard time picking a favorite Darkthrone album. For the longest time, I said Transylvanian Hunger, and I still really fucking love that album. But there was a point where, this might be their best album. I mean, that's, of course, just my opinion, but I know a lot of people that feel that way. It is an untouchable classic, timeless classic. Absolutely. Next, I have the, regular version of Goat Lord. This is a repress. This is a Moonfog release, but it's not an original pressing. I don't know when it came out, but anyway. It's a Moonfog release, like I said. Goat Lord, there you go. I don't know, you're probably all familiar with Goat Lord, but if you're not, because who knows who's watching. This came out, or did it? I can't really remember the history. It was recorded, anyways, after Soulside Journey, so this was supposed to be their second album, I believe. I think it was unreleased for a while. Correct me if I'm wrong. I very much might be. I might have some of the facts. Like I said, feel free to correct me. But anyways, I know that it was recorded after Soulside Journey, and it was supposed to be their second album, but I don't think. I know something happened, and it didn't happen that way. It's a really fucking weird album. Like I said, there are instrumental version. There's an instrumental version. There's a version where there are vocals, and they're really fucking weird vocals. I didn't know for years and years that it was Fenriz doing the vocals, because it doesn't sound like him. He does like these female sounding, but it sounds like a female vocalist. But it's done by Fenriz. This really weird album. It doesn't sound like Soulside Journey. It does sound. There is some death metal-ish stuff in there, but it's unique. I mean, there's no denying that. It's definitely unique. It's unique as an album, and it's unique as a Darkthrone album. It's kind of an anomaly. It's weird. Feel free to let me know how you feel about it. It's definitely the album that kind of splits fans right down the middle. I feel like most people don't care for it, but maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, just a weird album. Doesn't quite fit anywhere in particular. Next we have, like I said, possibly my favorite album. There's Transylvanian Hunger. Louis, you might know him. When he was a puppy, got a hold of this and fucking chewed on the edge, but luckily that's all he did. I never bothered to replace it. Fuck, man. What can I say about this album? It's just fantastic. All their albums really, what I like about Darkthrone is all their albums always really sounded unique. They never really put out the same album twice. I don't think there's any denying that. And this album I always thought kind of had a little bit of a depressive sound. I'm not so good at saying things about albums that necessarily haven't been said before, but this came out in '93. It's cold as fuck sounding. It's still raw. It's just great. It's raw yet melodic. I mean, there's some great melodies on this album. It's like I said, they're kind of a depressive sound at times. So I mean, you can probably say this album had probably a big influence on like the depressive, black metal bands that would come, years later. At least I think so. Maybe not as much as Burzum had on, but still, definitely, I think that album in particular had an influence. Next, we have Preparing for War. This is just a compilation. There are a lot of versions of this compilation, too, and I don't remember how they are different from each other, but I know there's like a bunch of variations for this fucker. I don't think it has anything on here that's like unreleased or anything like that. It's got some demo tracks, and it's got some tracks from their first, 3 or 4 albums. So for that reason, it really isn't mandatory. I just have it. I don't know why. It's got some cool liner notes, like, you know, pretty much all their releases do, usually by Fenriz. And, you know, it's got cool artwork. It's got a nice layout. There you go. What is it good for? I would say, I don't know. I guess if you're new to Darkthrone, I mean, what are any, you know, compilations good for? It's, I don't know. I guess it'd be good for a beginner getting into black metal or getting into Darkthrone. I mean, this might not be the best introduction to black metal as a genre, but it'd be a good introduction for the band itself. We got one more, and this is an album I feel like a lot of people don't like. I love the shit out of it. I do think this is a highly underrated Darkthrone album. We got Total Death. This is the re-release that came out not long ago. I'm going to say a couple years, 2011? Shit. Anyways, 7 years ago. This is when they put out those re-releases that had a bonus disc with the album played in its entirety with Nocturno Culto and Fenriz talking about the album while it's playing, and it's really fun. Just for that reason alone, I mean, these re-releases are worth getting, even if you already have the albums. Just, it's, you know, listening to them talk, you know, is always fun, and it's just really cool. It's definitely worth your money. They're just really entertaining. And this album, man, like I said, I feel like most people don't like it, or at least don't care much for it, but I think it's great. I mean, it's got some cool, there's some kind of a heavy thrash influence on this album, and I just think it's fucking killer. It's one of my favorite Darkthrone albums. I don't know if I'd place it among, you know, like the first four, but at the same time, I think it can kind of sit with them, and it doesn't sound like those albums necessarily. It's you know, it's unique for them. Like I said, there's some strong thrash influences. You know, it's pretty vicious. I dig it. So anyways, yeah, that's all I got for you guys. I know I said let's talk about Goat Lord, but really let's talk about all those albums. I mean, everyone's talked about basically the first four albums. I guess there's not too much. I mean, there's not really anything anyone can say about those. We all love them, but go ahead and let me know how you feel anyways. But specifically the more obscure albums like Goat Lord and Total Death. I'd like to hear, you know, more opinions on those, because I've always been of the opinion that Total Death is kind of not real well loved, and I always thought it was weird. And if you don't like it, you know, maybe you could let me know why. I'm not going to argue with you or bash you or anything like that, because we're all different. We all like different shit. But yeah, if you don't like Total Death, what do you not like about it? Goat Lord, I could see 100 reasons why you wouldn't like that. So there might not be much of a point in going to that territory. But anyways, I am done rambling. I'm going to take off. By the way, I forgot to say what I was listening to. I'm listening to the debut album by Helheim. I always had a hard time with the name. It starts with a J. Go look it up. It's really fucking killer. I think it's a really underrated Norwegian black metal album. I think it's fantastic. Great band and even better album. So anyways, it's Friday, so you guys have a good weekend. I don't know if I'm uploading this video tonight or not, but whatever. If you watch this later, hopefully you had a good weekend. Thanks for stopping by. We'll talk later. Cheers.